One of The Office's best couples was set up to be the next Jim and Pam, but the show made their relationship so toxic that it ruined all chances of that. From The Office's first season, Jim and Pam were the romantic focus of the series. Over the first 3 seasons, they were a classic will they or won't they pairing, similar to Friends Ross and Rachel or Cheers Sam and Diane. In season 4, they finally got together and lived happily ever after, so the writers had to look elsewhere for romantic conflicts. The writers involved Angela in not one, but 2 separate love triangles with her co-workers. Ryan and Kelly's on and off romance was a consistent source of comedy. Michael and Holly were perfect for each other, but their initial courtship got cut short by an employee transfer. The closest that The Office came to Jim and Pam 2.0 was Andy and Erin's relationship, but that relationship got so corrupted in the last few seasons that they ended up being closer to Pam and Roy. Andy and Erin could have been The Office's new Jim and Pam. They had great chemistry and seemed perfect for each other. Andy and Erin smiling in the office. When Andy and Erin first got together, they had great chemistry, quickly fell in love, and seemed perfect for each other. But as the seasons went on, Erin dated Gabe because she thought she had to. Andy callously rejected Erin's attempt at reconciliation for seemingly no reason. Andy then cheated on his long-term girlfriend to get back with Erin, and eventually, he abandoned Erin to go on a boating trip with his brother. They started out as a perfect fit on par with Jim and Pam and ended up as a toxic nightmare on par with Michael and Jan. The Office ruined its best new couple by changing Andy. Andy became a much worse person after getting Michael's job. After Steve Carell left The Office, Michael's job was up for grabs. Plenty of candidates were interviewed, both in-house applicants and cameoing celebrities, and the position ultimately went to Andy. It made sense for the network to replace Carell with Ed Helms, since the Hangover franchise had made him the second most famous member of the cast. But from a story perspective, it didn't make sense for Andy to become the new manager. Once he became the new manager, Andy became much more unlikable. The writers turned him into Michael, reverted all his character development, and brought back all his worst qualities, which made him a terrible boyfriend to Erin. He was selfish, careless, and completely unsupportive. The final nail in the coffin was when he disappeared on a boat for a few months to accommodate Helms' busy movie schedule. Over the course of The Office's 9 seasons, the show had a lot of frustrating storylines that are tough to sit through on a rewatch. Kathy's attempt to sabotage Jim and Pam's marriage and seduce Jim into having an affair wasn't funny at all, it was just awkward. Brian the sound guy's supporting role made the series much too meta. But Andy and Erin's relationship is arguably even more frustrating than either of them, because it seemed so promising in the beginning. Kathy's attempt at homewreckery was uncomfortable from the offset. Brian's on-camera appearances were baffling from the second he put down the boom mic. But Andy and Erin seemed to have such a bright future when they first got together. They were kind, supportive of each other, and shared the same sense of humor. Turning them into the most toxic couple on the show was one of The Office's biggest fumbles, and there were quite a few in those later seasons.